My stepdad wore the same shirt I got in trouble for during the parent-teacher meeting. First off, let me preface by saying both my mother and stepdad were absolute scum. But even the worst people in all of human history sometimes have their good moments, and this was one of them. X200B. I was 14 and I was in middle school. I was so proud of my Cornholio shirt from Beavis and Butthead. It was a mugshot of Beavis with his shirt up over his head and the caption read "I am the great Cornholio." X200B. I didn't know what the hell a cornhole was. I knew a pie hole was a mouth. And I could kinda figure out with the inclusion of the word hole that maybe it meant anus, but I didn't really know for sure. And apparently my mom and stepdad didn't either. But my agri teacher, a religious fundamentalist who couldn't let an hour go by without shoehorning his religion into his lessons, pulled me out of class and took me to the principal's office over the shirt after I started doing Beavis impressions in class with my shirt up. I didn't know what it was about until we were in the hallway and he said, "I find that highly offensive." X200B. This? I asked. X200B. Yes, he said. X200B. And just an FYI. This was the 90s. Even then humans thought there was nothing in the world more important than the fact they were offended by something stupid. X200B. Anyway, they made me turn my shirt inside out for the rest of the day. I told my mom and stepdad about it and they didn't know what was up his ass either. Other than the fact that he was a religious lunatic. X200B. Anyway, a few weeks later it was time for parent-teacher conferences and my mom remembered that shit. She said she wanted to ask what the hell his problem was with that shirt. My stepdad decided to wear it during the meeting. The best part was that he was a fucking cop. X200B. I didn't go to the meeting with them, but I'd have given just about anything to see that psycho's face. Been perfect if you responded with "Are you threatening me? I need TP for my bunghole." My mom did the cornholio routine with her shirt in the 90s to make us laugh, piss us off. That teacher sucks. I'm 53 and still do the cornholio bit with my 19-year-old son. It's a classic and still hilarious 30-ish years later. My niece had a shirt that said "Make 7 up yours." But "Make 7" was on the front. "Up yours" was on the back. She wore it to school probably 3-4 times before she got in trouble for it. 2005-6-ish. My 4-year-old does the cornholio bit every time she changes her shirt. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy. This is hilarious. They made me turn my frog baseball shirt inside out in middle school 93. They also took offense to my Nike Go Like Hell shirt. But a female classmate was okay to wear her Eagles Hell Freezes over shirt. Teachers all had their own paddles too. Southern Mississippi schools are where we fucked around and found out. You all didn't know what was up your teacher's ass. Well, corn obviously. Nice. My brother and I actually named our childhood dog Beavis. Teacher, I find that highly offensive. Me, I don't see how that's my problem. It sounds like it's your problem. I find religious assholes like you offensive, but I don't go on about it. This is pretty good. Even if your stepdad is scum, at least he gave you this. I have awful parents who had their golden moments as well. I know exactly what you mean. My mother may be a raging narcissist who literally cannot comprehend me as a unique individual. Person separate from and not owned by herself. But that also meant no one could say shit to me. An old man snapped at me once over some trivial shit. My mom sat down with him for a few minutes in the terrifying ex-military way she does. For the rest of my high school years, if the man saw me, he opened the closest door for me and said, "Hello miss, how are you?" That's raw power for a 16-year-old girl. Did you ask your parents what happened when they got home? My daughter did the same with a Nashville Pussy shirt in middle school. The principal asked her if her father knew she had that shirt. She explained that I have one just like it and the band gave them to us. She explained that the band were friends of ours, had been nominated for a Grammy and were people she looked up to. The principal gave up and she had to turn it inside out for the day. I was today years old when I finally understood what the big deal was with that. I have been saying I am cornholio, I need some TP for my bunghole for forever. When I was a kid, cornhole was a whole different thing. And I am reminded of it every time I hear the term. Back then I think the game was just called beanbag toss. Funny how it's the right and proper Bible thumpers who know all of the naughty things, eh? You really didn't have to specify that was from the 90s. I knew exactly what shirt you were talking about. I'm pretty sure I had that shirt but went to parochial school so I had to wear a tie every day. Anyways, so got in trouble for vastly different things. Still pretty awesome though. Isn't cornhole that game where you throw the bags with rice or beans in 'em through a box with holes from a distance? My question here is agri teacher. Did you have a class on straight agriculture? Kinda cool. Closest I had was ecology. Learned about photosynthesis and stuff. The euphemism cornhole comes from a time when rural settlers didn't have TP. So they wiped with used corn cobs instead. Read this to my wife. When I got to the last paragraph with the parent-teacher meeting. Got to your mom. She interrupted saying I hope she wore the t-shirt. We're glad one of them did. I am cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole is what we say around our house when we run out of TP. Tears of joy. My homeroom teacher in high school banned kids from wearing in-n-out burger t-shirts because she thought it was a sex reference. We are not from California. I finally was able to explain to her that it was a real burger joint in California and she let them wear them again, lol. And just an FYI. This was the 90s. Even then humans thought there was nothing in the world more important than the fact they were offended by something stupid. It's nothing close to what it is now. Nowhere close, lol. He obviously had a large ear of corn up his butt. How else would he have known what cornholio meant? Religious people are truly the worst. I went to school with some kids whose pastor father made them wear some sort of religious propaganda shirt to school every single day. Fast forward a few years. We're out of school and that father is doing life in prison for killing his wife to try to hide the fact he was having a gay affair. I hope he wore it over the top of his head. Haha. My fave show at the time. Love this and reminds me of wearing my at the time boyfriend's pro-choice shirt that showcased a cross and a pentacle 5-point star inside a circle to a college math class where our professor was a brother of the local Catholic church and would regularly take half the class to tell us in detail how he worshipped that day.